If you're not doing sales role play every week, you're missing out on the potential of your sales team. I'm Eric Horowitz. I run a service company that I grew from 1.3 million to 10.2 million in 19 months. It takes me about half a day to manage. Currently, I am the interim sales manager. And let me tell you about what we've been doing lately. These are 8 tips on how to get your sales team to role play, to do it well, and to learn from it. Because this is exactly what I'm doing this exact week. So it's very real, very raw. Okay. So let's get started. Tip number 1, put it on the calendar weekly. So everything on the calendar happens. And the first thing I would do every week, and I do this, is I look at the week and say, here's when the entire sales team is going to meet and do the role play. The key element is if it's on the calendar, it happens. And with any future sales manager, they would also keep this appointment on the calendar. It's a 90-minute session. Currently, it's from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which for me in Dubai is a little bit later. But this happens on Mondays and Thursdays. I'll probably add a Tuesday session as well. When it's on the calendar, it happens. And that's why that's rule number 1. If I ever met a sales manager and they asked me, I'm having trouble, what do I do? I'm like, let me see your week. I look at your calendar. I'm like, you're not doing any role play. You got to do it. Put it on the calendar and everything else can happen afterwards with your entire sales team. So it's actually efficient. You should do one-on-one training, but most of it will be that group stuff. Tip number 2, you demonstrate and record for your team. So if I'm doing a sales presentation or training on how to do a cold call to a gatekeeper, a conversation with a prospect, or if I'm trying to meet with a potential, decision maker with a follow-up meeting after follow-up meeting, I do it first. I demonstrate the way to do it. Now, I have these videos I filmed 3 years ago of me pitching culinary workshops to school districts. And those videos are still good. I just watched them the other day and I still nail so many key points from the introduction to the presentation and to the logistics Google sheet that we create. We create this Google sheet that shows everything that we do and then the close. So by having that, I don't have to keep doing the sales presentation over and over. I will do it live. I'll do parts of it live, but it's so nice having it recorded. And I'll tell you why in just a second. But the thing you do is you record. Now, this leads me to tip number 3, which is the other people have to practice it. So you break out into breakout rooms on Zoom, and you have them practice. So in this situation, what we did is we had about 7 people on the call, and I spoke for 5-10 minutes saying, here's what we're going to do on the call today. We're going to role play we have this part of our presentation where we create this live Google sheet. It's a Google sheet we present to the client that shows how many schools, how many workshops, how many hours, how many students we can impact. And it's difficult because you have to be able to ask questions, you have to engage them, you have to do all this talking while furiously on a shared screen making this Google sheet for the client. And it's not easy. And one rep was having trouble. They were doing it, but the vocal tonality wasn't there. They seemed like they were struggling a little bit. And I said, look, you have to do this, this, this. I presented him the order. Then we hopped into another breakout room and I had a more seasoned sales rep do it and he did it flawlessly. He showed how you would talk and do the Google Sheet and I said, look, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And with that, I think this rep understood exactly what I needed, only because he practiced and then he saw somebody else practice. Tip number 4, you can also use this time, these 90-minute blocks, to review pre-recorded FTAs. Now, an FTA is a first-time appointment. So all of my staff have to record using loom.com. Loom.com is a free software, but we always pay it's like $7 a month. And you basically click a button and it records you, it records the sounds you make, and it records the screen, who you're talking to on. So it's a great way to check in with a remote team, like in my setup where everyone's remote. So what we can do is I would spend maybe 20% of that entire block reviewing pre-recorded live calls because I can see what they actually did because I wasn't on the meeting because it was at 3 a.m. and I was asleep in Dubai. I don't want to spend too much time recording footage. This to me is like how athletes will often review their footage of them playing. But what's more important? If you're learning tennis, is it more important to play more tennis, to practice and hit the ball, or to review your previous game? The answer is you should do both, but we all know that it's more important to hit the ball and practice it and spend a little bit of your time reviewing your footage so you can learn, so you can play more. But don't waste too much time reviewing stuff. Just use it as an opportunity to grow with your team and see what's up. Tip number 5, you have to create random scenarios and surprises for your team during these role play sessions. So what I did is I would have the team pair up, and then I would say, okay, here is your scenario. And I wouldn't tell the other person one's the prospect and one's the sales rep. I would tell the prospect, you are going to be a school site with requesting a 5-week summer session with 7 sites and 100 kids at each site. Go. And they present the sites, the amount of kids, and then my sales rep has to, in the moment, figure out, well, how many do I pitch? What's the deal? We have rules for all this, but I like to test them. Or I might say, hey, you are a middle school, high school, and elementary school, 3 sites with 100 kids at each site or 200 kids at each site, and they want a fall session for 10 weeks. And boom. Then I would also add objections. When during the conversation, I want you to say this question to them. Can I get a discount? Because we have a response for that, but I want to see how well the sales rep knows the response that's in the SOP. I also could throw stuff out like, we want to go with your classes, but this competitor is actually cheaper. I think I was going to go with them. And then you have to explain why. And I like to put them on their feet, make sure they can still keep up with the script, because all these things are handled in the SOP. But in that role play session, that's when we get a chance to really put them in the shoes, in that somewhat realistic scenario that happens all the time of, hey, they're going to throw objections at you, be ready. Tip number 6, don't help them. Let them finish the entire presentation or the entire portion of the meeting before interrupting with your tips. So I might be watching a sales presentation and I really want to jump in and go, whoa, you did that, do it again. And sometimes you do that, but the majority of the time, especially for newer sales reps, I want them to get to the end of the presentation. I want them to go from here to here and save my notes to the end, because a lot of it is just getting in the full rep. It's like if somebody needs to run a mile and they need to do it multiple times, I don't want to always interrupt their mile with stopping, pausing, giving them, hey, you should run this way, you should do that, you should move your arms this way, your legs that way. Let them also finish the mile so they get used to finishing the mile, and then you can make it sharper, shorter, faster, and more efficient. So when they are doing a presentation or a call, go from the start to the end, because it's very tempting for them to go, oh, hold on, I have a question. Like, no, this is a role play. Get to the end and then we'll answer it. Or even if the person who's playing the prospect is another sales rep, they want to go, no, don't do it that way. You should do it this way. No, let them get to the end. This is how people learn to get through the entire cycle, and don't always get caught up with the first, quarter or first half or first 3 quarters. Get used to the whole thing and practice the whole thing every time. Tip number 7, pick something new to focus on every single time. So in these trainings, I might pick one part of the sales. In a most recent training, we practiced what to do when you are having a follow-up meeting with a client. That's usually around 15 minutes after the first FTA. It's a week later, 2 weeks later. Ask them, how was that proposal that I sent you? Another option might be you can practice the sales presentation, but this part of the presentation. You might practice how to do a call when you talk to a gatekeeper. You might practice how to talk, what do you do and what do you say when you actually get past the gatekeeper and you talk to the prospect, the decision maker? What do you do in those quick 5-10 minutes that you have? By picking apart different elements of the entire sales process, everyone gets better. And this leads me to tip number 8, which is doing sales role play. It's like the gym. You're going to do it forever. You don't lift weights for 2 weeks and then 2 weeks and then 2 weeks and twice a week and then stop. If you're healthy and you understand the importance of lifting weights is you're improving your muscle, your bones, your heart, your health, everything, you have to do it forever. And guess what? My future sales managers that we're going to hire will be doing this forever. They will always have those 90-minute chunks baked into their week, and the sales reps will join those chunks to make sure we're always getting better, because there's always room for improvement. There's always a time for a more seasoned sales rep to show the newer people how it's done, or the newer people to just practice, and there's always something better they can improve at. But you don't just role play and then stop. That's a mistake I think that people who manage sales teams make. Oh yeah, we can do role play for the first 1, 2, 3 months, then you're good to go, you're free. No, you can use some of that role play to review last week's, game footage, so to speak. So these are my 8 tips. I'm just going to go through them again. You're going to put it on the calendar every single week, and you're going to lock it in. Number 2, you're going to record you doing the sales, so it's locked in forever. Number 3, you're going to use breakout rooms in Zoom, so now your team can practice. Rule number 4, have some time to review pre-recorded sales calls. Number 5, create random scenarios and give them lots of surprises during the role play. Number 6, don't help them. Let them finish the full cycle. Number 7, pick something new to get better at every single time. And number 8, this is like the gym. You do sales role play forever and ever and ever. If you need help building your remote sales team, if you need help with hiring, training, onboarding sales teams, I've been an entrepreneur for 16 years. I grew my company rapidly. I have a great team and I'm very good at what I do. Book a call with me, winwitheric.com.